Hello everyone, Joel here. After some of my Switch RPG games list, I realized that I've not yet branching out from another genre for Nintendo Switch. So for a start, I will try with listing the best Switch games of all time. You may not agree with the ranking, but I'm pretty sure we can agree that these games are crazy good. Alright then, let's get started. No More Heroes 3 refines the franchise hack and slash like cyber action gameplay to the sharpest it has ever been. It's no Ninja Gaiden, but switching between light and heavy attacks feels fluid and satisfying, and that's even before you get into the more advanced techniques. If you're curious about the series, start at the beginning. However, once you're caught up, you will be glad that Suda51 returned to deliver us this sequel. On the surface, Celeste is another brutally challenging and fast-paced title. Level design and controls are great, especially when secret areas and more unique tasks are factored in. Mastering the game's precision timing and having lightning-quick reactions will take a lot of patience and persistence, but it's worth every minute. Besides all of that, the art style and narrative are perfectly designed. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD introduces many of technical and quality of life improvements that reinvigorate this classic game. With motion controls more precise than ever before, better graphics, smooth 60fps gameplay, and a bothersome sidekick who's been streamlined into something altogether more useful, this really does feel like the Skyward Sword that was meant to be experienced. If you are a true Legend of Zelda fans, then picking this game is a no-brainer. Mega Man 11 is an excellent resurgence for the Blue Bomber, tweaking the tried and true classic gameplay with modern touches and new ideas. The underlying action platforming is just as tight and challenging as you remember, and when combined with the new visuals and extra options for replayability, you've got a game that's every bit as good as those that came before, while surpassing them in some ways. Mega Man 11 is a modern classic, a fitting refresh for a beloved series, and surely deserves a spot in your Switch library whether you're a newcomer or not. New Horizons is an expanded, polished, next-generation reboot of a classic Nintendo game. There are so many different types of Animal Crossing players, and yet Animal Crossing New Horizons manages to improve upon the virtual lives of each player type. There are endless lists of things to hunt, buy, hoard, and display in New Horizons. If you want some relaxing casual games but still giving you some satisfaction, Animal Crossing New Horizons is the perfect game for you. Super Mario Odyssey represents a shift in direction for Mario. It's a very modern take on sandbox Mario with some additions that freshen up the formula. It's also a wonderful showcase for the Switch and could introduce a whole new audience to the wonders of Mario in 3 dimensions. For the veterans, it's yet another special release to remind us of why Mario is still one of the best games that ever made. Link's Awakening is a masterful reimagining of the 1990-30 Game Boy classic, preserving the original game's clever dungeons and puzzles while wrapping it in a gorgeously vibrant new art style. While Link's Awakening feels pretty close to the original game's overall structure, it does spice things up with the ability to create your own dungeons. If you are craving some old-school 2D Zelda action or just need something to hold you over until Breath of the Wild 2, Link's Awakening is yet another great Zelda adventure for your Switch. The story of Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age takes a less character-centric approach to its narrative, but at the cost of making it less relatable than some predecessors in the series. Fortunately, the gameplay picks up the slack, coming off as something akin to a single-player MMO. Though it's not exactly open world, the on-rails nature of JRPG is long gone here, replaced by a gameplay structure that encourages you to take frequent breaks from the main narrative in favor of some good old-fashioned side quest grinding. Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age is a great example of what developers should aspire to do with remastering old games. Dying Light on Switch is quite a remarkable achievement, and we are happy to report that Techland has mostly stuck the landing with this one. Its ambitious open world full of zombies is unlike anything else in the Switch library, and between the core campaign and 6 years of constant DLC updates, there's potentially hundreds of hours of enjoyment to be had here. Granted, all of this comes at the cost of performance that can be middling compared to other platforms, but this is neatly balanced out by the convenience of playing in handheld mode. Shin Megami Tensei V is a modern masterpiece. It successfully delivers on all the aspects that have made the series thus far so popular through its high difficulty, heavy narrative themes, and expansive team building options while polishing up and tightening the weaker aspects. Things like a more convenient map and more difficulty options to choose comfortably make this the most approachable entry in the series, and it feels like there's more things to do in the world than ever before. If you have been looking for a good entry point into this often overlooked series, we would strongly encourage you to start from this one. While it leans on plenty of familiar plotlines and anime cliché, Lacrimosa of Dana's story is still genuinely interesting. Unlike Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, Ys has been about active battling from the start, and Ys 8 is no different. Combat in Lacrimosa of Dana is real-time and takes place directly on the field without switching to any separate screen. With fun, fast-paced combat, likable characters, and an enjoyable story that takes full advantage of its beautiful shipwreck setting, Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana is a top-shelf action RPG. Hollow Knight takes a traditional Metroidvania game's design and mixes it in a sprinkle of Dark Souls to create a sprawling 2D world that's both exciting and formidable to explore. In true Metroidvania style, you'll be exploring a labyrinth of underground areas and all filled with strange creatures to fight and bizarre bugs to befriend. From its punchy combat system to its charming art and sound design, this is one of the finest adventures you can have on Nintendo Switch. If you have been waiting since 2002 for the next 2D Metroid, or even if you're new to the sci-fi series, then you are in for a treat. The gameplay is very familiar, involving lots of backtracking and secret hunting, but even if the template is old, it still feels great to play. There are all sorts of interesting story to find as you progress through the campaign, the culminations of the story that began with the original Metroid. Dark Souls is a masterclass in video game design. The world isn't full of small enemies that serve as fodder to keep you entertained before each inevitable boss fight. In here, every encounter is designed to test you, to evoke the muscle memory that's been ingrained in blood, sweat, and tears. And with its faithful remaster that improves overall performance, now you can play this masterpiece everywhere you want. Hades nails the core elements of the roguelite: tight combat, meaningful customization, varied abilities that differentiate runs, and interesting progression, all laced with a well-written narrative. It's one of the few games where the fact that it will keep changing and growing just makes you want to play it more. Graphically, it's also pretty much a match for the PC version and looks truly stunning in handheld, where the action remains impressively readable no matter how hectic things get. I passionately urge you to at least give Hades a try for fans of the genre or anyone even remotely interested. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a standout RPG that manages to keep its story, combat, and exploration interesting over the course of at least 70 hours of adventure. One of the best things about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is that it eases you into its combat mechanics gradually and gracefully, but mastering it is another story. Getting from place to place can be confusing, but outside of that and a multi-hour progression roadblock near the end, this is an excellent game full of tough, memorable battles and emotional stories.
Focusing on target.
Fire Emblem Three Houses succeeds in its ambitious telling of a land at war helmed by captivating leaders in which no side has all the answers. Its tense battles are more engaging thanks to new strategy elements, and the colorful cast of troops you send into the fray are incredibly charming. With a new take on training and bonding with your units, as well as activities and options that are available to sample, it certainly boosts up the replayability for hardcore players, especially Fire Emblem fans. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe delivers a huge amount of racing goodness right out of the box, and is a polished version of a Wii U entry that was a proper battle mode away from being top of class. Now that issue has been addressed, what we have is arguably the best Mario Kart release we've seen. It's the definitive Mario Kart 8 experience, content-rich and a delightful feast of comedic cartoonish karting action. If you're a Switch owner, it's an easy choice. Platinum Games has a reputation for making action games that are both stylish and delightfully weird. Astral Chain faithfully embraces this tradition and pushes each aspect to the max. Its innovative combat system cleverly manages to make controlling two characters at once feel intuitive and deeply rewarding. Excellent pacing artfully balances tense action with enticing exploration to create a deeply satisfying experience.
All of this is Alicia. I'm on my way, okay? So somebody...
Dragon Quest XI doesn't do much to reinvent the wheel. Given the diverse range of other modern RPGs available on all platforms, Dragon Quest is a rather fascinating outlier in how old school it feels. It may not have much in the way of innovative mechanics, but Dragon Quest XI consistently demonstrates an impressive mastery and control in nearly every aspect of its experience, reminding us just how this series has remained such a juggernaut for so many decades. Whether you're a newcomer to the JRPG genre or a returning veteran, do yourself a favor and buy this game. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate lives up to its name. Offering the most comprehensive game in the series to date, it has an absurd amount to play, fight, and unlock, though that can be to its detriment at times. While the World of Light adventure mode isn't reason alone to get Smash Bros., it's still a consistently amusing and shockingly large campaign and a worthy complement to its incredible multiplayer core. Overall, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the best version of Smash Bros. Series, and it certainly delivers in all of its aspects. From its opening moments to non-stop adventures that take you across the high seas to the Reaper's Coast, Nameless Isle and beyond, Divinity Original Sin 2 simply dazzles. In its seemingly endless parade of well-written characters, hilarious narration, deep and rewarding combat system, this is a truly epic RPG that revels in choice more than any other that's come before it. It takes the old-school isometric style of Baldur's Gate, layers it with a high level of attention to detail, and fuses it with a modern take on meaningful player decisions, resulting in one of the greatest RPG available on any platform, and it's all here, present and correct on a portable console.
None. It doesn't budge.
Rivaling the original release of Monster Hunter World, Rise looks to shake up the usual cycle with a new significant tricks up its sleeve that completely change how you play the game, meaning that they are equipped with wildly different attacks, strengths, and weaknesses. Every monster fight feels unique, different, and much more varied than its most direct predecessor, which is no small task. Overall, with new mechanics, monsters, and a gorgeous setting, Monster Hunter Rise sets a new high watermark for the franchise.
Then two great titans.
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is the remaster that this respected JRPG deserves. Its customization systems and overly grindy structure certainly haven't aged well, but its story and combat are just as great as ever. The new future-connected story chapter isn't offering that much value, but the impressive graphical overhaul and welcome quality of life improvements make this the best version of Xenoblade Chronicles we have ever had.
Look at this! I don't believe it.
Breath of the Wild delivers the revolution that has undoubtedly been desired by the developers and Zelda fans. Nintendo has created the biggest Hyrule yet, and it's also the most engaging and varied. The sheer scale of the world means that you can discover interesting side quests and lore in the most unexpected places. Combat is also satisfying and introducing some new mechanics, which adding an extra level to strategy. Overall, Breath of the Wild is a masterclass and watershed game that reinvents a 30-year-old franchise. Alright boys, I think that's it for today. Actually, there are a lot of good games that I'm not putting here for the sake of conveniences. So how about sharing yours? Tell us your best Switch games in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss another great list. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace!